$10 from Kuvi. Yay for SGDQ! I put my donation towards showing the cutscenes for Pepsi Man, for he is the hero we truly deserve. $50 from Lemmy. My TV gave out Thursday night, so I made sure to get a new one in time for SGDQ. That's commitment right there. Looking forward to breaking in the new set as games get broken all week long. Thank you, Lemmy. Anonymous $50 donation that says, that donation counter is on world record pace. Thanks to everyone who put this event together. Good luck, runners, and here's to another awesome GDQ. Maximilian gave $100. I can't wait for Task Block. It's the most exciting part of every Games Done Quick event. Task Bot forever. I do have to say that if you haven't watched a Task Block before, you got to make sure that you watch that, because they always come up with something new and exciting every year, and it never fails to blow everyone's mind. So make sure to watch Task Block. If you do want to know what's upcoming, make sure to go to the website, Games Done Quick. You can look at the schedule there, and you can also look at the tracker, which lets you know what's coming up for donation bid wars, all the other information about the marathon. We have $50 from Pete115. My roommate donated to save the animals. I need to keep the sanctity of this home by outmatching him. May the RNG be ever in your favor. Thanks, Pete. We have $100 from Chris57. Hello, SGDQ. This will be yet another awesome week, and I have to donate to such an incredible cause. I wish all the runners good luck, and may it create some awesome moments. Greetings from Italy. We have $50 from Shadow84. Howdy from Texas A&M University. First time donating, but I've seen tons of recordings from previous GDQs. So glad something like this exists in the gaming community, and what a way to start things off. This donation goes to White Kirby in the Air Ride Speedrun, because I always chose that color when playing as a kid. We've got $150 from Tekuan. Always good to see people gathering money for good while showcasing their passion. Second year in a row watching, and hope the turnout will become even greater than the past years. Much love from the hashtag Raiders. Thanks, Tekuan. We've got $25 from the Master DS2. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze Hype. That was the best game of 2014. People don't talk about it enough. Here's to an amazing run.
What did we need? Do you know who Zach Xenon is or where he is? He's supposed to be our host.
Spike, who's first again? NotSoNewby. Wait, so you guys are doing different sets.
We do have a specific prize for this game. It's Donkey Kong framed art, and with a $15 minimum donation, you can get in for that during this next upcoming game. If you want to see a picture of that, you can definitely go check it out, Games Done Quick, and click on the tracker, and then you can view all the prizes, as well as lots of other information about the runs. We've got $50 from Kamar3524. Glad I could attend SGDQ this year. Best of luck to all the runners, and here's to evening the big head mode for Ed, and Eddie. I'd just like to thank everyone for watching Summer Games Done Quick 2016. This is a charity speedrunning marathon where all the proceeds go to Doctors Without Borders. Just in case anyone's wondering, the Save or Kill the Animals bid war is already heating up. So far, Kill is ahead by about $600 at $3,146.06. And Save is trailing behind just a little bit, $2,535.22. But as we all know, that will probably flip-flop many times during the week. So if you want the animals to be brutally slain, or if you want to save the little cute creatures, make sure to get your donation in right away. We've got $30 from Chaos Wolf 1725. Let's save those animals. They've done nothing wrong after all.
Oh. Yeah, it's fine. Here's Zach. Let's give you just real fast. It's gonna be. Hello, everybody, all of you aspiring tropical freeze enthusiasts. We are here to hype up the relay race coming up, the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. But first, a quick roll call. I am Jay Hobbs.
I'm Ghoul02.
And I'm Munchakoopas.
And we will be your commentators, also known as the disembodied voices for the next run. So coming up, we've got a really awesome run here, and we've got a 3v3 relay race. It's going to be Team Canada versus Team USA. So to start us off, we're gonna, got a bit of a chant on Independence Day weekend. So we're gonna quickly start off by introducing Team Canada, who I believe is going to be on the left side of the screen. Or no,
Team Canada on the left.
Yes. Team Canada on the left, and we're going to start taking on Worlds 1 and 4, the Terror of Toronto, NotSoNewby.
And coming up after him, running Worlds 2 and 6, we have the monster from Montreal, Michael Goldfish.
Taking on Worlds 3 and 5 from Minneapolis, Canada, the hometown hero, we have Enkaybee. All right, and for the home team, Team USA, we have going first, doing Worlds 1 and 6, MooMooAkai, the Long Island legend.
Look at that glorious afro.
That's how he gets all his power right here.
It's true. Yes.
Kruncha.
Okay, and then running Worlds 4 and 5, we have the California King, Kruncha.
And last but not least, running Worlds 2 and 3, spikevegeta.
I think without any further ado, we can get this race underway. What do you guys think? All right, counting down. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, good luck to our runners. Ghoul, you want to tell us a little bit about this game very quickly?
Yeah, this game was released in 2014 on the Wii U. It's Retro's second attempt at making a Donkey Kong Country 2D platformer. As you can see, MooMooAkai getting a bit lucky with that first load. There's a bit of variability in those. Shouldn't make too big of a difference over the course of the race.
Yeah, so right off the bat, to talk a little bit about the mechanics here, we've got solo DK starting off the race. You have to actually roll and then jump to get the most speed out of solo DK. Swimming while canceling your swim animation with a breaststroke is a bit faster at the beginning here. So you'll see most of these roll jumps are not actually going to be what you see throughout most of the run. We'll be getting into that a bit.
Anytime you have a buddy Kong, you can infinitely roll. As you'll see in just a little bit here, very clean openings from both teams. No real mistakes to speak of so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumping up onto the piranha plant here, as I like to call it anyways. We're going to be getting Diddy. Diddy has a hover ability, as you just saw on the right side from Moo. And Diddy's main use is going to be underwater throughout this run. Right now, we're going to be using him in order to infinitely roll, which you can do with any of the Buddy Kongs, as you saw right there. Going to pull that plug there, which is going to
pull up some barrels. Returning from the Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country games, we're going to be blasting through these barrels very quickly. No pausing, just keep on going. Moo and Team USA having a slight lead on the right there, as you can see.
Yeah, to say that Moo has put a lot of work into World 1 is to say pretty much the least about it. He's really one of the most dedicated runners for this game, I'd say. Always kind of grinding out attempts and really trying to get the best time he can. Here you're seeing a lot of bouncing off of the enemies, which is something you can do as solo DK or with a partner Kong.
It's a bit trickier with Dixie and Diddy, just because holding the button is what triggers that hover ability, and that'll actually cause you to lose that roll speed. You can see very clean first levels from both teams. That difference is almost entirely caused by that first load.
Yeah.
So
pretty good start. Here we go.
Uh-oh. You can see the load screens in this game aren't the best. You'll see them occasionally kind of freeze a little bit right there.
Yeah, generally the loads should be pretty consistent across both teams, but Moo getting a little bit of a lead from that, as well as doing just minor things here and there to save a couple frames potentially. So moving right into 1-2.
This will be that first level we get to see that Diddy underwater tech, where every Kong has different abilities on land and underwater. Diddy's ability underwater is the jetpack. It allows him to move very quickly while also having a lot of control over where he goes.
Yeah, in addition, you're actually going to see Dixie for the first time in this level. You can actually start this game as a two-player run, in which case we'd only see Cranky, but both runners using the one-player strats at the beginning here.
All right. It's a difference of about a second and a half or so. It's not a huge deal, and they really wanted to show off all the different Kongs very early.
Yeah, runners are taking pretty much the same routes so far, bouncing off the same enemies.
Yeah. One of the cool things about this game is this game gives you so many chances to express how you want to play, and even though they'll be going equally fast, you'll see very big differences in how they play.
Slight differences here. Moo deciding to go under the fish, while as Newbie deciding to go right through him. And here we go. We're going to get Dixie for the first time here, taking Newbie just a slight bit longer.
Yeah. Moo getting the spike pickup. You'll see right here, Moo's going to be using Dixie's ability right here, which is the flutter. It acts a lot like a second jump to get that extra height right into the barrel. Very clean stages from both runners. A little bit more safety from Newbie there, costing just a little bit of time, but nothing major at all.
We're talking about less than a second here. This is World 1, where you have to really add up every small amount that you can.
All right, and moving into 1-3, which is the next level, obviously, we're going to see the third Kong, Cranky. And Cranky's ability on land is one of the most important, and which is what makes him the most used Kong in the entire game. And I'll get more on to that once we actually see Cranky.
Yeah, loading in when we're keeping that small advantage. It would be kind of surprising if we see too much of a lead difference here in World 1. Maybe just some time gained by Newbie here, but rolling right away, actually going to take intentional damage there on Newbie's side, and we're going to see Cranky. Munchie, you want to tell us a little bit more about him?
Certainly. So Cranky's main ability is his cane, which allows you to pogo off of nearly any surface in the game, excluding electricity and fire. And another thing about the cane is that the pogo actually reaches the same height that Dixie will get you off of a flutter. So in some instances, that will actually allow Cranky to access areas that previously we only thought Dixie could reach.
Both runners here using a specific setup in order to keep these pogos going the entire way. Using pogos after you've started a roll is a bit faster than starting new rolls. It's about 1/30th of a second, but it adds up over the course of the run. They both executed that perfectly, so we're going to be continuing to see the same lead difference through through level 3. Sorry.
Yeah. Something else about Cranky is that the pogo allows you to conserve any momentum you might gain from any like swinging platforms or any like extra movement that the environment gives you. So that will come into play much later in the run and will save them a lot of time.
Yeah, Cranky's pogo also allowing you to get to a higher jump than just a normal solo DK jump, which you can also reach the same height with Dixie, but it takes a little bit longer with her fluttering technique.
The one thing Dixie does have is Dixie can get you a bit of extra horizontal distance, as well as just being a safer Kong to use. She is actually very difficult to use optimally. We'll get to that a little bit later. Right here, we're going into the first auto-scroller, but first they're going to get into this cart without using a barrel. That's a technique we call barrel skip. It's a little bit risky, but they should be fine on it, so...
Yeah, both runners have a specific setup here in order to get into this barrel, so hopefully we shouldn't see any problems. Moomoo taking it on first. She's on the right side, going to hop off of both of the buzzards there and immediately get into the minecart without using the barrel. Newbie following, having to pull back and go into the barrel. Not too much of a time loss, totally fine. And the main thing to note about these auto-scrollers is that they're going to be doing their best to kind of jump at the bottom of slopes and jump up the upward slopes. That way they can kind of cut out the slow bits of the auto-scroller. For the most part, they can't save too much time. Now is probably a pretty good time if we have a donation or two. Or maybe we don't.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about strategy here. Moomoo is probably one of the premier runners of this game. Seeing him go World 1 is a little bit surprising. It's almost like Team USA really wants to get that early lead built up so that they can kind of fall back on that a little bit later. Take a little bit of that pressure off the later runners.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you do kind of long grinds of your speed runs, it's often that you're going to end up doing the early worlds a lot. So it kind of makes sense to put your best foot forward here. Of course, Canada not putting their best foot forward by picking Newbie.
Yeah, Newbie is still a fantastic runner.
Yeah, we're not going to downplay. This is 6 of the top runners that we have of the entire game here. And I think it's just kind of interesting that we're not going to see the same matchup in the entire run in any world.
Yeah, in no world where you see Newbie, you won't see Moomoo going against Newbie in his second world. You won't see Spike and Kruncha matchup twice. Every matchup is going to be unique for every world.
Yeah, we're actually not going to see Moomoo after World 1 until World 6, so it's going to be a
That's going to be a bit interesting because he's going to be sitting there for a long time. His hands are going to be a bit cold.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting decision from Team USA here.
It's not much better for Team Canada though. Goldfish is going to be sitting from at the end of World 2 all the way to World 6.
Yep.
They're going to be doing some very difficult levels, basically cold. So
both runners finishing 1-4 there with the DK logo in the barrel, which means that they jumped and were able to hit it as early as possible. So. We're now going to be moving on into the boss. Muncha, do you want to tell us a little bit about how bosses generally work in this game?
Sure. Every boss takes 9 hits to finish, thus you can then move to the next level. And this boss in particular, every boss requires a bit of platforming finesse to basically speed up their cycles, because instead of being damageable at any point during the fight, you have to wait for specific instances to damage the boss.
Right, so you're going to see right here on the right side, Moomoo, he's summoning these fish. He's going to try to kill these fish as high as possible to keep them from getting, like the farther they fall, the longer it's going to take to kill them. So you see right here, he's going to bounce up and get him right there. We call that the God Cod. Beautiful right there by Moomoo.
Time to watch and see if Newbie can get this as well. And he has to unfortunately come down. It's not going to be too much of a time loss, but it does, of course,
again,
pile
anything in World 1 is just, a little bit of time saved up, trying to make those differences as big as possible. Moomoo getting him well above that ledge on the side there. Beautiful stuff right there. Newbie coming up on a second try on the left over here.
And Newbie nails it.
That's amazing. That's
right up at
high.
the absolute highest that you can, so very nice. Now going to get the next hit in on Pompey, and bosses all have 3 phases in addition to the 9 hits, so you won't be seeing that God Cod strat anymore in this fight. There is another one though about a fairly large fish. You want to tell us about that? You want to tell us about that goal? Sorry.
Yeah, we call it the early fat-ups number 2. It's going to be a very specific setup on how they kill the enemies leading into it to kill this fish at almost the very top of the screen. If they go too early, though, they'll get stuck in the middle and get what we call ghost fish, where the hitbox just straight up will not spawn for the fish, and they have to let it flop around until it dies. So it's a little bit risky, but it saves so much time if they do it properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Both runners having a bit of fun here and just kind of hopping off of the soldiers on the side. Very nice, kind of warm. You keep your hands warmed up and everything, and of course, we're all out here to have some fun.
Perfect through 6 hits on both teams. Nothing really major on either side. Moomoo getting that 7th hit on the right side over there. Here we go. Watch Moomoo See if he gets it. This looks pretty solid to me so far. Let's see.
Going off of the spine.
There we
and then
go,
he gets
all the
him
way at
right
the
up
top.
at the top.
Beautiful. Newbie setting up for it right now.
There we go, and Newbie nails it as well.
Newbie getting the last hit in right here on the right side of the screen if you want to take a watch.
There we go. Each of these bosses will end with the punches like that. Now we're immediately jumping into Spike. They can't rest. This is normally kind of a little bit of a cutscene for you. And not only are we switching runners here, we're switching on Canada as well with Goldfish coming in. But we also have to switch control schemes. See, these runners use slightly different control schemes. And if they forgot to do that, then that would kind of cause a very large issue. So Spike's going to be switching to using the analog stick here. The only main difference between the control schemes is that for the D-pad control scheme that Moo and Goldfish use, it's more of a, you have to kind of press more buttons sometimes. You have to have
There's no run
button
button for the analog stick just because you have the analog movement. When you're using the D-pad, the way they differentiate between a walk speed and a run speed is just by holding a button.
Yeah. Both of them pulling out the perfect menuing. So very good job so far. So now coming into 2-1, this is kind of the gauntlet of World Tours. These next 3 levels is you only get Cranky if you kept him from one boss, and you have to use him in 2-3, and you would like to not have to pick up an extra barrel. So keeping him through these 3 levels is very important.
Again, we want to watch because these are 2 brand new runners. Want to see if there's any jitters coming out from the big event to the big stage.
Yeah, we can also see if they decide to use any different routes here. It looks like Spike playing it pretty safe, using some pogos at the end there, though, instead of a roll, which would be the slightly safer way. We'll see how Goldfish handles it as well. Deciding to roll through the end there. So Goldfish taking it just slightly safer at that portion. We've got Spike going into the climb here. The climb is going to be very precise. He has to do these jumps specifically to minimize the amount of time in the air, and he gets into the barrel, going for an IL cycle that he unfortunately didn't get. Let's see if Goldfish on the left side of your screen can get this. And he does. He actually does. So that's going to save him about a second or two there. And we've got Spike carrying some momentum from that cart into these jumps and nails it going into the barrel. Perfect. And we're going to have Goldfish going on the left side as well. Let's see if he can make this. And he does.
Beautiful.
Great.
Right there. Spike having no issues with the next section either.
Spike rolling into the barrel as you can hear the excitement from saving for a second, and so does Goldfish. We have
These guys are going in right now. No safety strats, just
we have an evenly matched pair here, it seems. So we're going into 2-2 now.
we have no breaks either. 2-2 is one of the scariest levels for this type of a stage.
Yeah, we've got Goldfish just a little bit behind, just basically keeping the difference from World 1. And now, going into the second world, we're going to be introduced to Rambi. Munchie, you want to give us a breakdown of how Rambi works?
Certainly. Rambi is our only animal buddy in this game. You might remember him from the first 3 Donkey Kong Country games. And he functions very similar to Solo DK. You mash a button to run, and he can still use all of the other Kong abilities, but since Rambi is a lot heavier, for example, if you use Dixie's Flutter, it doesn't move him as high. But it does allow, or Rambi in general can just bash through pretty much any enemy and any obstacle in his way.
Yeah, and Rambi's startup animation for a run, which is not what that looks like from Spike, is actually slower than starting up a new roll. And so therefore you actually want to make sure that you're doing pogos to eliminate startup animations much more often with Rambi than you necessarily need to when you're just Donkey Kong and Cranky. So Goldfish catching up just a little bit of time there from that
You'll see coming up here on
the
the right with Spike, just a little bit. We're going to have a bit of a mini momentum boost. Keep in mind, as that platform swings, he's actually going to keep...
he took some damage there, which is...
That's a little bit scary,
about
actually.
half a second or so. Let's see if Goldfish can do it and without taking damage. So Goldfish has already saved about a second so far on this level. We've got Spike coming into the next section where we're going to have 2 momentum boosts.
These are huge and very risky to go for, especially this first one. It's a bit of a mini one. We'll see if Spike's going to end up pulling up right here.
So he's going for it so far. He pulls up just a little bit. That's probably the safer way to go. Goldfish coming up next and goes for it and nails it. So Goldfish catching up time in 2-2. Spike getting the big boost here, the second boost. And he bonks on the cave. So now we're going to have to look on the left screen for Goldfish, who's making it work so far. And there he goes.
All the way to the Cave of Wonders. What a play by Goldfish.
We have got a race here, ladies and gentlemen.
And keep in mind, all these pogos are very precise, so they have to be carefully placed, because otherwise you end up in the wrong part of the platforms, which can, of course, lead to instant death in all these pits.
Not only that, it's really easy to jump off of those swings at differing points and end up in different spots. So you have to make little mini adjustments based on where you actually land. That's not easy to do at all. Goldfish making up all the lead from World 1 on Team USA right there.
Yeah,
Team Canada in the lead.
Excellent job. That second boost is very hard, by the way. All of the boosts in that level are, so not unsurprising to see that somebody might have issues with it. Now, moving on into 2-3. This is probably the most precise level out of World 2. This level is completely based on global cycles. Munchie, you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. The global cycles essentially start as soon as the level begins, and nearly everything you see in this level, aside from maybe the enemies and the leaves falling, will be in a certain place no matter what the runners do. So it's very important that the runners keep up and keep the same cycle throughout the level so that it's exactly what their muscle memory is used to.
Oh no! We've got our first death of the run from Goldfish on the left side, and he actually gets the little bit of a pause afterwards. We've got Spike now continuing on through the level. He's going to keep trying to do as many pogos as he can, and if he makes any slight mistakes, like the death on the right side there. Oh, so we're going to have Goldfish catching up basically right here, and
this is making things hard too, because those cycles are now completely off. They're going to have to make a lot of reactions based on those changes.
Wow,
just having to stop and pick up Cranky. They don't know what these cycles are going to look like when they get to them.
We are tied going into the rest of this level. This is excellent. Oh, but Goldfish taking the hit there because these cycles are messed up. Again, they are based on the game, on the level itself, not on the camera, and so therefore they don't exactly know what they're going to get since it didn't go perfectly. Both runners getting out of the woods for the most part. Now going to go into the last barrel. Oh, Goldfish just slightly behind from that damage earlier on, and now we've got 3 horn blasts that we need to pay attention to here.
They're going to be listening for an audio cue, which might be a bit interesting in this kind of a setting to see if they're going to get this.
Both runners opting for the puzzle piece. Okay, Spike is now coming up on the important blast. And he was able to grab the grass, and so was Goldfish. So
perfect cycles, not having to use the pogo to get up to that grass early. And we have an extremely close race, even with those 2 deaths.
Yeah, this is unbelievably exciting right now. We're now going to take all of that excitement and move into 2-4, which is an autoscroller. So we're going to be able to speed this up again in more or less the same way as you saw in 1-4, which is just kind of jumping near the bottoms of slopes and jumping up the upward slopes. And there is a damage boost that you can do in this level that is a bit difficult. So when we're getting closer to that, let's see if one of the runners decides to do it. For now, though, I think we can kick it over to Zach for some donations.
All right, we have a $15 donation from Anonymous that says this run is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Another $50 donation from Anonymous. Great marathon, great charity. Always love watching you guys break games. $55 from Mr. Cab 77. Love Tropical Freeze. Let's go Spike.
All right, both runners still basically tied here. We're not going to really see a lead change during this level, most likely. Goldfish taking a bit more damage, probably just for fun.
How do you feel about how Spike's doing so far? He's been, we're going to see him again do World 3 up next as well, so try to get a glimpse on how he's doing. It's played pretty clean for the most part, a couple minor mistakes, but...
Yeah, it's kind of funny that both runners had a bit of a difficulty with 2-3. I think they both
especially
very much enjoy
these are the 2 runners that have had the most GDQ experience. Goldfish, of course, being the SGDQ 2015 runner. Spike, no stranger to GDQs, of course. So to see the little early jitters maybe come out from them is a bit surprising.
And Goldfish not getting the puzzle piece, which must be saying something about how well he's doing. But he is taking the damage boost, so he was able to save just a slight bit of time there and didn't die to the ceiling of spikes. So it looks like we're going to have him catch up just slightly during this level. We're now going to be rolling right into the machine! And out of that, we're going to be coming up onto something we like to call the Granny Hill. This is something where if you decide to jump up this hill, it does save you a little bit of time, but it makes the following 3 jumps much harder. We're most likely not going to see either runner go for it. It's very difficult. I've personally only ever been able to do it once.
It's incredibly costly as well. The checkpoint was way back at the machine, so...
Okay, great. Neither runner goes for it there, but the runners are both jumping on these platforms, which is a bit difficult, a bit scary to do. Making their way to the end of the level here, jumping over the last hill, jumping
ignoring
over
that
the
secret
final
exit.
gap.
You're going to see a couple secret exits later on, but none in the first 2 worlds.
Both runners hitting the barrel as early as possible as well. So we've still got a very close race going into 2-5 now. Now 2-5 has a lot more use of Dixie, and so I'm going to ask Ghoul to kind of explain the intricacies of how Dixie works.
Right. So again, Dixie's ability. We've seen the Cranky Pogo a lot to this point. Dixie has the flutter, which acts a bit like a second jump. Now, the thing that makes it very difficult to use sometimes is that when you're rolling and jumping, you keep that roll speed. But if you use that flutter, that roll speed goes away, and you revert back to Donkey's normal running speed. So you lose a lot of time if you accidentally flutter at a wrong time, or if you bounce off an enemy and try to get full height and get a flutter at the end of it, you'll lose all that speed. Yeah. So very critical.
Goldfish taking a damage, taking 1 heart of damage there, which is not intentional, so he's going to be losing about a half a second there.
Also, a bit scary. I don't think there's any too dangerous point here, but again, it just...
All right, let's take a look at Spike's screen on the right here. We're going to be having him roll through one enemy and bounce off another. Goldfish bouncing off of 2 enemies. They're both fairly even right now. All of these bounces, as Ghoul said, can lose all of your momentum if you flutter just before you bounce.
All it takes is holding that B button for a frame too long.
Yeah, if you hold jump, you will continue to flutter. So they actually have to time all of their presses very specifically. Both of them jumping in the barrel early. We're going to see if they can both get the super bounce. Spike holding up just a bit more than Goldfish did, but they both did do pretty well there.
Goldfish pulling back just a little bit there. Didn't like the location of that hoot. But we're looking pretty good going into these little balloons section at the end right here.
All right, going into the balloons, Goldfish actually is going to be holding the run button. As we mentioned before, this is one of the control differences. It's going to let him match the speed that Spike's going to be getting using analog. Spike finishing just about as far ahead of Goldfish as he was at the previous level, so the small kind of hang-ups from both sides equaled each other out.
We're seeing these two actually be about the same spot they were when they went into this world. Not really any major change in that lead that Moo handed Team USA.
Yeah, so far the runners have, for the most part, not had to worry about any barrels that rotate between the 3 team members. Munchie, you want to explain kind of what those are?
Yeah, the buddy barrels will rotate between Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky in that order. And in this level in particular, what both teams want to do is get to a Cranky barrel later in the level at a certain cycle. And if you get there too early, it's actually okay, because then you still have to get Cranky.
Spike having trouble getting through that wall and then having trouble getting up onto the platform. So Goldfish taking the lead for Team Canada. Now they have to hit these bells in order to kind of spawn the next vines. Both runners opting for some safety and not dodge. Oh, we got Spike dodging some of the bananas and losing some frames for it, so it's great. And both we're going to be seeing the K grab from Goldfish just for fun. Now going to be moving on to the towards the harder section.
So again, we were talking about those barrel cycles. Those early mistakes by Spike might actually throw off where he doesn't get this Cranky barrel early either. It's one of those things that makes small mistakes, half a second, actually add up to be closer to 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, Goldfish has been pretty clean on this level so far, so he will probably be making this early cycle. From Spike, we might unfortunately be seeing him missing the second cycle, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Looking at the left side of the screen, Goldfish is going to be going for this barrel right now. He gets the God Cranky, and Spike has to wait for the 3rd cycle, so that's each cycle costs 3 seconds. I mean, Spike has lost 6 seconds, unfortunately.
Team Canada takes the lead because of it.
Now we got Spike and Goldfish both having some fun here. The vines keep you at a constant speed. Now, grabbing at the fronts of these vines actually does shove you forward a few pixels, so throughout most of the level, they've been trying to grab the vines as early as possible. We're now going to get some momentum boost here with Cranky. You can see him keep all of the speed from that vine. Spike going for it and getting it as well. We now have the climb, which is a bit difficult. The floor is now dropping out from under them, and you have to try to minimize your time in the air, but still getting high enough for each platform. Goldfish finishing very strong, and Spike following suit right after with the balloon instead of the bananas.
It's an incredibly clean 2-6 from Goldfish, though.
I'm excited about these lead changes, man. I'm loving it every minute of it right now. All right, now, with that being said, we're rolling right into 2 boss. This is Scowl. Scowl is probably one of the better bosses.
It's everybody's favorite boss fight that speedruns this game. There's so much tech. There's so many little things going on. You're going to see them trying for quick kill setups. They're going to be pushing these cycles through. He gives you all the hits you need right at the beginning. They need to hold on to all these items to get these quick hits in.
Yeah, so again, as Muncha has said before, we've got 9 hits here, 3 phases each. We can't actually hit Scowl here. You actually have to throw these eggs at him, these kind of baby owls. And because of that, you can't just go after him immediately.
It's a bit scary because the only thing that can actually kill these eggs when you bounce on them, that they're going to be throwing, is actually Cranky's pogo.
Both runners having some fun, which hopefully means that the jitters have worn off. We're now into phase 1. They're going to be doing these pogos while grabbing the baby owls.
Those are a lot harder than they look.
Yeah,
by
they're
the
quite
way.
difficult, and it looks like both runners doing pretty well at the beginning. Spike taking a little bit longer, as indicated by the spike ball.
Yeah,
the ice ball showing up.
A little bit late there. That's surprising.
Second phase. Again, there is no randomness in this this run really so far. We're going to be going into the second phase here and holding on to one of the owls. If you're looking at the left side of your screen, is going to throw it right there.
Grab that second one before it goes off.
Just before it disappears. And perfectly executing phase 2 for Goldfish. Spike misses a throw. That's very unfortunate. He's going to lose quite a bit of time for that.
It's about 20 seconds, but there is actually going to be some randomness that's going to come into play now on which of these owls he's going to drop is going to be the egg.
Yeah, Goldfish moving into phase 3, the first real point of RNG in the game. RNG, of course, standing for randomness within a run. Spike getting a pretty early owl, so that's fine.
That's the first drop was an egg, so that's good good luck. It can either be first or second, so...
Yeah, so we're now going to be watching the left side of the screen, watching for Goldfish to get the eggs that pop up on the next screen.
He's going to get 2 eggs on this next cycle here.
Where these eggs spawn is random. He got a little unfortunate, I think, with them being on the left side. So now he has to walk over towards the right side in order to
pick up that second egg.
Scowl. Picks up the second egg, and now we're going to see, based on where this first egg drops, dropping in the middle means that there is a setup that the runners know of how to quick kill this boss and save about 2 to 3 seconds. We'll see if Goldfish decides to go for it. And he does! He nails it! So excellent job, Goldfish. Taking a look at the right side of the screen, we've got Spike going to be coming up on this next. At this point, it's kind of a matter of, do we save the time or do we kind of play it safe and not lose any more? He got a pretty good spawn in terms of where Scowl is going to drop. We'll see if he goes for it. And he plays it safe. Smart decision there.
Smart decision. That loses almost a full minute if you screw that up, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Good decision there. I completely agree with that. Yeah. So losing 3
Goldfish
seconds
is just a madman. Goldfish now going to be swapping off for NK over here on World 3.
Yeah, one thing to note is Goldfish switching over to NK here means that there's another controller scheme switch. However, Spike's going to be continuing, which is not going to switch one. Canada actually has 1 extra controller switch overall during the race. So that means that we may see Team USA catch up just a little bit here, although some of the loads will be shorter because of that controller switch.
So we got our first look here at Enkaybee on the left. We'll see if we can get any jitters out of the way on this first stage. The good thing about this first stage for NK is that this is actually another one of those global cycle levels, and it's also very difficult to lose time on it because each of these things is a 7-second cycle that he really can't speed up all that much. So it's also everybody's favorite level because of we call this the Lion King level.
Yes, absolutely. Great music, of course, on this level.
If you know the words, sing along in chat.
David Wise doing the music for this game, coming back from the original Donkey Kong Countries.
Really was one of the things that helped put this over the top, especially compared to its predecessor.
Absolutely fantastic. NK keeping that lead that he got from Goldfish for the time
being.
No
time lost. Spike over there going for a swag puzzle piece.
And nails it. Again, not losing any time there.
Because of those global cycles, he's able to kind of have some fun with this level a little bit.
So far, not seeing any mistakes from NK. He kind of has this level and the next level to be a little bit easier.
Before coming up with one of the premier tricks of this run.
Yeah, absolutely. 3-3 is going to be one of our biggest. Oh, but here we go. NK, unfortunately not making it quite up the snake, so he's going to miss an entire cycle for that. We'll see if Spike is able to kind of catch up here and not miss any time.
That's probably 7 seconds, so yeah, a very significant time loss.
Spike, unfortunately, ground pounding instead of rolling, so now he's going to probably miss the cycle as well. NK going to be jumping into the final barrel as early as possible in order to roll onto that platform while it's on the right. Spike did miss the cycle as well, so we're going to actually end up having a pretty even 3-1 so far. Or World 3 so far, I should say. Spike now going to be jumping into the barrel. Ooh, a little bit later, it looks like he may have to roll twice. No, he was actually able to get it, so still good that global cycle.
About a 12-second difference between our two teams at the moment.
Yeah, excellent race so far, keeping it this close. Really excited about this. Now, we've got 3-2 coming up, which 3-2 is actually a level that we'll be using Cranky on, but is not exactly faster to use Cranky on. You want to tell us a bit more about that, Muncha?
Well, the main reason we use Cranky in this level is because there's a lot of these fruits which have spikes on them. So if any of the Kongs touch them normally, they will take damage. Cranky, on the other hand, can just bounce over nearly everything in this level, which will allow him to take some shorter routes through some parts of the level.
NK taking some damage on the left side. Every time you take damage, it's generally a half-second time loss, but it can also potentially mean that you miss barrel cycles or miss some platforms, platform jumps, anything like that throughout the run. Luckily, in this case, it's probably going to be mitigated and just be the half-second time loss. Spike getting through it without any issues so far.
If you load up the individual level leaderboard for this, to see, losing Cranky.
No! NK having to go back. He lost Cranky from taking the second damage. He's going to come back and get him. That's going to be some time loss. We'll see if Spike can capitalize on it.
Easily worth it, though. For just the next level alone. Again, the next level's got a trick with Cranky that can save over 15 seconds if absolutely nailed.
Spike taking damage there, which is not too much of an issue. He does still have one heart on that Cranky. NK going for some puzzle pieces. Only puzzle piece jumps, only able to get one before collecting the puzzle piece, having to wait on that last Baobab to come through. We'll see if Spike grabbing the G instead of doing the jumps and just grabbing the puzzle piece. A little bit of a silly thing, but it can potentially show if anybody's got some jitters going on right now. So Spike catching up quite a bit of time in that level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, losing Cranky there really costing Team Canada a little bit there. We'll have to see what comes out of this 3-3. Again, one of the hardest tricks, the infamous Tornado-Cido, famously walled Goldfish a little bit during SGDQ 2015.
All right, we're going to have both runners being, I believe both runners are going for this. To note, when you run through these tornadoes, they can actually increase the speed at which you come out. As we mentioned before, if you pogo with Cranky, you can maintain that speed. However, there are pits and spikes all over this level, and so we're going to be trying to make sure that he can get the most speed he potentially can. NK, starting with the setup here, gets some speed. He does a roll early instead of a bounce. He normally gets hit by that bird, so I'm really impressed that he didn't. We're going to be seeing if he can make it all the way through. Spike is getting some good speed as well, and so far, damageless. Okay, pulling up easy right for NK. We're now going to have Spike see if he can... Oh, he unfortunately had to stop as well.
Spike pulled up after that hit. Probably a smart decision. Again, this stage is very punishing. The first checkpoint not coming up until right there on Spike's screen on the right.
We got Diddy from Enkaybee, which shouldn't really be too much of an issue. He's going to lose a little bit of time every time he has to start up a run animation when instead he could be using a pogo from Cranky, as well as having to wait a bit to get into that final barrel. So Spike catching up a bit more time. Both of their Dositos seemed about the same in terms of how much time they saved from it. NK may be saving a bit more time.
Definitely making up the time they put into it at least, though, which is definitely what you want in a race setting like this. You don't want to lose time going for it, but it's very hard to do that if you get any distance out of that at all.
Absolutely. So. I know both runners were going to be happy with anything that didn't cause them to die effectively for the Dosido. Getting it is incredibly difficult and is highly unlikely for the most part. Grabbing Dixie at the end here, which we'll be using in the next level, and a clean finish from NK. We'll see if Spike can follow suit. Going to be making these jumps, having to run whenever possible, and yes, a slight flutter at the end, but still, very nice.
Both runners ranked that as among like the level they were most scared of in this. So
yeah, that was absolutely clean, like perfectly fine from both runners. Getting the full Dosido would have been just ridiculous to begin with, so not surprising to see that both runners were able to adapt appropriately and still live instead of falling into a pit going for the most time gain. We're now going to be having, we're going to have 3-4, which is, after Do-Si-Do, is a little bit of a kind of breather. NK taking a bit of damage there, which is not intentional, but you are able to take 1 damage if you need to. It just means he's not going to be able to go for a skip later, most likely. We're now going to have Spike getting through it with no damage, so going to be watching a lot of rolling in this level.
It's actually one of the more fun levels to learn and run. It's a bit simple at times, but again, you're going to watch, especially with Dixie, they're going to be very careful not to use any accidental flutters at the end of jumps, or use the bare minimum flutter they need to get over some of these longer jumps that they're going to do.
Crouching under that fire. Oh, he's actually grabbing Dixie so that he can get the heart refill, so now he can go for the fire droplet skip, which he gets!
Fire droplet skip, wow!
So that probably... that canceled out the time loss from grabbing the barrel. We're going to be seeing Spike go for it and not get it, unfortunately. We basically call that RNG. It's very precise. We don't exactly know any
We don't
kind of
know where the
setup in
cycle
order
for
to
that
get
starts and how to get a consistent setup to get through that. So NK getting through that, saving just a little bit of time there on Spike at the end. All this is adding up again. Team Canada off to a pretty, decent little lead.
Yeah, we're rolling right along into 3-5. 3-5 is our first rocket barrel level of the run. Muncha, give us a breakdown.
Well, the rocket barrels are, again, auto-scrollers, so we can't really do anything to speed them up. In this level, the runners will either pick up all the collectibles if they feel like swagging out a bit, or they might just do what we call hold A, which is they just hold A and they will sit at the top of the screen and continue moving. The only special thing about this level besides that is that you do need Cranky or Dixie to access the secret exit, because only they can get enough height to obtain the secret exit.
Both runners will be opting for Cranky as he's more useful in the next level. You can potentially get Cranky on that first cycle. You kind of see him rotating there, but it's incredibly precise, and if you miss it, then you have to force a death. Both runners opting for hold A strats, so we're going to be seeing them float at the top of the screen while we hear some donations from Zach.
You got it. We got $50 from Anonymous. First-time donator. Want to give a shout-out to Spikevegeta and to my friend Sam, who introduced me to the amazingly broken world that is speedrunning. Go Team USA. We have $20 from Little Square. Good luck to all runners. This is going to be an exciting race. Special shout-out to my boy Goldfish. Go Team Canada.
Looks like the runners
A
having
bit of fun from the runners here, knowing this is not a level that can do too much during having a little thumb war competition on the side.
We can go with a couple more donations.
All right, we got $20 from Gregory H. This is the most fun I've had watching a GDQ race. Amazing talent on both sides. Would you kindly put this towards a good ending for Bioshock? Bioshock the Collection. Hype! We got $20 from Alyssa Levy. Looks like SGDQ is off to an awesome start. Let's keep it awesome with the Fusion Suit and Prime, and let's end it awesome by killing those animals.
All right, NK making it into the secret exit there, having a little bit of a bonk on the ceiling, which is not great, but we'll see if
Unfortunate, but
Spike
not
gets it.
really a huge deal. You can see
About the same time, Spike saving maybe a half a second or less there, but both of them, of course, doing the auto-scroller perfectly.
3-6 is one of everybody's favorite levels to watch. You're going to see these blind jumps into these giant chasms. There's
3B.
spikes everywhere. 3B, sorry. Excuse me. 3B, you're going to see these jumps into these chasms, spikes everywhere. They're going to be avoiding them.
Yeah, if you remember Brambles from the early Donkey Kong Country games, this is Bramble Scramble back again. And basically the way that this level works is the entire level is going to unfold in front of our runners here. NK will be showing this off first. It's going to look that a lot of these jumps that he's making are blind, and they effectively are blind. We do have some setups in order to make sure that he knows what he's doing. Not getting the super bounce off of that flower pad there, which is not going to be too much of a time loss, but let's see if Spike can get it, and he gets a slow bounce from it, so unfortunately they're losing the same amount of time there.
It's a little bit tricky because you have to get that bounce right after you hit that flower. One of the weirder timings in the game. It's a bit easier with Cranky because, again, you don't have to worry about fluttering into it like you would with a Dixie or a Diddy, but...
Spike getting the next flower bounce, so excellent job by him. Now
See
going to
right
be
here, NK's going to grab the end and just do full pogos all the way into this barrel on the right. Beautifully done. He's going to take a quick damage here. He's going to hold on to Cranky. He can lose Cranky here. It's not a huge deal, but he's
Spike taking some time there to fall in that pit, and unfortunately is going to be having a very slow ending to this level. Going to still take that damage and then wait in order to keep Cranky. You can lose him, as Ghoul was saying, but you'll have to pick him up for the boss anyways.
All right. No breaks. We got 3 boss coming up. This is Baboom. Baboom again with those 9 hits, but he's a bit different because he's going to actually split into 3 different monkeys at the start of this fight. Each of these monkeys is going to have their own separate health points, but when you take one of the monkeys out, all the other health points are going to come back for the other monkey. So you can't skip cycles or anything. All these hits are only going to matter for taking out one monkey at a time.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest part of randomness in the run is in this fight. These monkeys can be a bit random on how far down they'll move on the poles in the second phase.
It's also somewhat random on what they're going to do on this first phase. NK not hitting that second one. It's not usually the most common strat. You're going to see again, they're going to drop down here on that left, and they're going to do some sonic spins, as I like to call them.
Now he's going to be waiting here for the next monkey to start falling, so that way he can clear him off for his third hit and end the first cycle.
You see Spike opting for doing 2 of the swinging sections like that. You're going to want to watch and see how low these monkeys get on the poles. NK taking an early hit, although he gets a heart out of it, so he's still at full health.
NK able to hit one of the monkeys twice, so getting pretty lucky there. I think the runners are kind of giving tips in the background there.
Some coaching. This is an Evo. Coaching is definitely allowed. Talking their teammates through this.
It looks like Spike got a little bit unfortunate luck there. We're now going to see NK holding onto the left side of the screen here. The monkey is going to be throwing a bomb, and he's going to try to grab the bomb in midair, bounce, and throw it right back at the monkeys. We'll see if he can pull it off here. And Kobe!
All right.
Pulls it off. We got Spike now going for it next. We'll see how he does.
Shouting at himself. No need for...
All right, so it seems like the runners are still very close here. Spike might have caught up some time. We're going to be going into the third phase, or the third hit, rather. You
can see right there, when he's swinging that hammer, the only reason he can pogo or damage him is because of Cranky's pogo, allowing him to go through that as though it was a spike. You'll see them throwing more bombs right here. Watch for the watermelon on the left from NK right here.
Intentional damage there.
Phil Mickelson!
We've got Spike now coming up for it. A little bit less clean of a Phil Mickelson. Shoutouts to Mario Golf Runner, I Am But Pixels, which is, I believe, where the Phil Mickelson shout came from.
Can we get a round of applause for Spike as he just finished up his segment of the run?
And with World 3 over, that means we get the new runner change. We've got Newbie coming back in for World 4 for Team Canada, and then Kruncha following suit for Team USA. This is Kruncha's first World of the run, so this is going to be someone to keep an eye on for these first early levels. See if you can shake off the jitters, get into a groove, and catch up some time for Team USA.
Kruncha's known as being kind of a pioneer for strats, especially in these World 4 levels with all this swimming. World 4 is known as the water world. You're going to see a lot of swimming, so a lot of Diddy usage here. You're going to see them grab Diddy at the very start of this level, and they're going to be using them almost the full way through until they go through the secret exit.
Yeah, Newbie bouncing on the water there, coming down. You have to wait for this Diddy cycle, so it doesn't quite matter how long you take to get there. Grabbing Diddy now, he's going to be going for a Dixie cycle. Like Ghoul said, Muncho, what's up with the barrels underwater?
The barrels actually rotate slower underwater, so each cycle that you miss costs you even more time. About 6 seconds per cycle, if I'm not mistaken.
It's twice as slow as they are on land. So again, all those itty-bitty mistakes, all these mini bonks that might happen underwater due to the full 3D motion add up very quickly.
Newbie trying to hold up and not take damage and ending up to taking damage anyways. So we'll have to see him adapt later. He'll have to not take damage here and wait, and then move on. And hopefully he can still make this Dixie cycle, which he was able to. He needs Dixie or Diddy in order to get to the secret exit here. Kruncha having a clean start so far, and grabbing the Dixie as well. We actually saw Diddy for a brief moment there, which means he was slightly faster. We've got both runners making their way now. Dixie having this hair fluttering ability lets her move through the currents that are pushing against you. So whenever the currents are pushing against them, the runners will be doing that just to get a little bit of extra distance whenever possible. Now, time for the most well-hidden secret exit in the game. On the left side of the screen, NotSoNewby unlocking it and turning back for it, using Dixie to get through this with the hair flutter. You can make this with Diddy through some unintentional
shenanigans, but it's a bit slower.
Yeah, it's a bit slower, and we'll be seeing that later on in the run. very good level from NotSoNewby, and Kruncha following suit, having a
Kruncha looking very
level.
solid for his first level. Actually might have gained a little bit of time on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he gained about a half a second, maybe even a full second, but we'll have to see how that helps him going through the rest of the world. We've got 4-2 coming up next, which 4A. Or sorry, 4A.
4A, one of my favorite levels. This is the only level in the game where all three Kongs are going to be used at different points. They're going to be starting off with Dixie, transitioning over to Diddy, and then ending on Cranky.
Yeah, to note, it is actually faster to do to end this level with Diddy, never grabbing the cranky barrel, but instead it's very precise, it's very difficult to do, and it's effectively one of those things that you're only doing if you're trying to improve your individual level time. Oh, taking some damage, Newbie, on the left side is unfortunately not great. He's now going to have to miss an entire cycle, losing 3 seconds to grab Diddy. And
also got Dixie,
a bit more time as well.
Oh, no, that's Diddy.
He got Diddy, so he's going to be able to swim quickly, but he's now behind Team USA. Kruncha pulling in, pulling for his team, pulling in and able to gain the lead. He's now going to be coming up on that cranky barrel right here, able to perfectly get it on cycle. So excellent job from him so far. We've got the cranky cycle from Newbie as well. A little bit lucky with all of that kind of time loss from earlier on. Kruncha taking it a bit safe, bouncing off that penguin there. Newbie doing it as well. Both runners now doing pretty much the same thing here. Kruncha's here gets a little bit of a woohoo coming out of the water there, which is
it's a slight animation skip, but it's not a huge deal. You're going to see him coming up right here, full pogos off of each of these spikes and into the secret exit.
And we've got Newbie following suit, also into the secret exit, the difficult part for sure. So we've got Team USA back in the lead. This is an exciting one.
Yeah, one level can make that big of a difference, as you can see. And we're not done yet.
No, we've now moved on from 4A into 4B, where we're going to go on Uncle Diddle's Wild Ride.
Uncle Diddle's Wild Ride is named for a new technique that was just found even after submissions closed for this run. You're going to see them adding in a co-op partner, using it because we need to actually separate the Kongs in this level and have each of them control individually. We're going to use that to get out of bounds, and it's going to cause some crazy shenanigans to happen. We're going to skip almost all of the intended ways of doing this level.
Take a look at the webcams here. You're going to actually see both runners holding 2 controllers in their hands. They're going to need to use both controllers actually in order to get this. You want to tell us a little bit about how this works, Muncha?
Sure. Essentially, as you re-enter the water, if you separate the Kongs in, which is only able to be done in 2-player, if you do it at just the right time, you can kind of force Diddy into the rocks on the left side of the screen there. And that actually gets him out of bounds. And then he swims underneath the screen and then up to the right. And then we'll see when the fun begins, right about now.
Newbie actually getting it first. We've now got Kruncha's attempt at it. Kruncha going underneath the level and avoiding the loading zone. So it looks like both runners are in there. And now
the magic begins.
Yeah, we've got both runners swimming out of bounds, and just take a look at the screen. Oh, what? We got a pause from Newbie.
Newbie wanted to reset it a little bit just to show off all this artifacting from just,
This is amazing. And both runners rejoining with Donkey Kong after he warped back to Diddy, because it is slightly faster to be using him, about 2 seconds overall. Newbie coming down now. We're going to see if he goes into the current tunnel to get a little bit of extra speed.
Of where they are.
And he does. So he's going to get a little bit of speed there through the current tunnel and then go to the end of the level. We've got Kruncha doing the same. Coming down a little bit later, it seems, not quite getting as much speed from the current. Very nice.
There we go.
Runners having
But you see,
some fun.
once again, one level making all the difference. Team Canada right back in the lead.
Yeah, whenever we've got both teams in the same loading screen at the same time, we know we've got a pretty close race here.
They've got to drop that co-op partner for the next level, because they're going to actually want to switch over to Cranky here. This is actually one of the very few non-water levels in this world.
Yeah, again, Diddy is the theme of this world, and we will be switching to Cranky for probably, in my opinion, the most difficult level of this world. I know that it is not the one that Newbie is most worried about, so hopefully he can have a very clean 4-5 here. Grabbing the bomb, throwing it to open the boxes there. He's going to be doing a lot of rolling, doesn't have Cranky yet, so he can't do any pogos. There grabs Cranky from being on cycle and starts using some pogos to gain some height. Looks like he clipped the ledge a bit there, but it shouldn't be an issue. We've now got Kruncha on the right side doing the same. We'll see him do 2 pogos and clearing that ledge completely, so maybe saving a few frames on Newbie.
You're going to want to look over at Newbie, trying to see how well he does in this section right here. Very tricky to do.
Yeah, we've got the Yak Yump coming up. Oh, taking some damage. That was not intentional. It's going to cost him some time. Let's see if he can. He's going to have to take all these jumps slowly. Take a look and see if he gets in the right barrel. He got in the left one, unfortunately. Able to mitigate the time loss a bit. Take a look on your right side of your screen. You'll see the strong dong from Kruncha is going to be making it into the barrel right from the the last barrel from the first barrel. We've now got both runners picking up Diddy because this is the water world and they'll be using him in the next level. And also, you need him in order to do the crate skip here. Newbie getting it, and let's see if Kruncha goes for it and is able to nail it as well. Both runners very close here.
And Team USA making up even more, cutting into that lead by Team Canada with a very strong level from Kruncha.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic from Kruncha. I know 4B is definitely...
it's one of the hardest levels to do.
4-5 is one of the hardest levels. 4B is one of the ones that Newbie has found very consistent for him, and Kruncha has had just a slight bit more difficulty with. So seeing the lead changes and Kruncha coming back, not letting it get to him is absolutely fantastic from these runners. We're now going into 4-6, which Newbie has described as the one he is the most worried about out of his levels. Kruncha's probably being the level immediately following.
Right. You'll see, again, another one of those underwater levels, but this is one of the easiest level underwater to bonk. You'll see some very precise movement, like right there. Watch Kruncha over here as he... Oh, okay. Normally you would try to avoid bonking there to save just a little bit of time.
I believe as long as they're making the cycle, it's not too much of an issue. All of these little, like, kind of screw switches here are, you have to use a corkscrew in order to turn in order to unlock the next part of the level. So you have to optimize all of your boosting while still spinning in order to unlock the walls in the next level, the next part of the level.
So right here,
now got a little bit of a slow, Newbie having to wait a cycle here, getting some hovering. Krunch is able to make it. We've got a tie right now. We've got both runners going into probably the most difficult part here. They can't take any damage besides the one intentional damage boost there, picking up the heart. They're now going to take a second one there.
Gotta avoid those bonks
Can't
on
be
there.
bonking on the walls. We've got Kruncha slightly in the lead, and now both runners going into the kind of mini auto-scroller of the level, having to unlock each switch here. They also need to be a bit careful. They could potentially run out of air if they aren't paying attention, so I'm sure that's on both their minds. Going to be avoiding all of these kind of prickly enemies as best as they can. Okay, Kruncha spinning a bit early there and was very close, but he was able to get it. Both runners...
Newbie having to hold up a little bit there to get the Diddy barrel. So Kruncha taking a nice little lead.
Yeah, the Diddy barrel is used to refill the hearts, so that way you can take the damage boost immediately following. So Kruncha's got that about 3-second lead right now. Moving into the end of the level. He's going to hold up here, and who goes a little bit early. That was pretty close. We've got Newbie playing it a little bit safer. And Kruncha going into the goal barrel.
Team USA taking that about a 6-second lead, I believe. Going right into Fugu for boss.
All right, so we went from the level Newbie was probably the most worried about to the level Kruncha is probably the most worried about. So this is going to be pretty interesting here.
It's kind of funny he says that he's actually the individual world record holder for this level, taking it not very, very recently. So we'll see how he does. This level's very tricky to do. Got to deal with some randomness as well.
Yeah, so we've got Fugu, and I know that Muncha has some opinions on Fugu.
I'm not a fan.
So we're going to be using Cranky here. Cranky's underwater ability still being that cane, but this time used as an offensive weapon, and they're going to use it to hit Fugu's hurt box very early.
Oh no, unfortunately, Newbie missing the barrel, so having to, or was he, actually, he might not have missed it, he might have come back for some swag. Kruncha is now going to be using the king to try to attack Fugu here. Oh, and he loses Cranky very early. He's now going to have to take an intentional hit from Fugu every time he wants to hit him while sitting behind him because Fugu is only vulnerable on the backside. That means that Newbie is now caught up pretty much and is going to be in the second phase with Cranky and gaining even more time if he is able to keep him here. The randomness in this fight is whether he gets a heart or not. He unfortunately was not able to and is going to have to do the rest with solo DK, but oh no, is stuck inside Fugu for a moment, is going to have to take the end of the second phase quite slowly.
Taking a death there.
Unfortunately taking the death, and it's going to push him back to the beginning of the boss. We've now got Kruncha finishing it up, taking the last bit of damage here. and nails the end of the boss. Team USA going into World 5 ahead.
Taking a very significant lead here.
Got Newbie taking his second attempt here. Going to try to hit him very quickly. He gets all 3 hits without Fugu having to rotate, so that's excellent job.
Does not get the heart though, so
there.
he's gonna. It's gonna be very hard for him to keep Cranky here.
Yeah,
you see him.
Oh, he's Kong Powing. This is one strategy you can use for fun. He's now going to take the damage and lose Cranky in order to get these guaranteed hearts. It's about a 99% chance that Fugu will drop a heart.
The only way he doesn't is if he actually hits Fugu before taking that second hit. If you have one heart left, you're guaranteed to get a heart from Fugu.
Yeah, we've now got Kruncha going into World 5. He is actually going to be remaining on this. This is going to be his last world of the run. Newbie finishing off Fugu. Very nice.
Let's get a round of applause for Newbie finishing up his segment of the run.
Very nice. Now we've got Kruncha in 5-1, which is a very difficult level to jump into. We've got Dixie being grabbed from him here, losing Cranky at the beginning of, or at the end of Fugu doesn't actually really lose you any time because you need to wait on some of these barrel cycles. He's grabbed Cranky now. He's going to be using Cranky in order to pogo off of some of these brambles or whatever you want to call them that you're seeing here. We'll see if he can get this. He's going to bounce off of this one, cutting out a long amount of waiting. All right, he's able to trust the trolley there. A little bit of a joke with the runners. If you wait on the right side, land on the right side of the trolley, and you just trust it, you should be able to move without any of the platforms falling underneath them. Kruncha doing a good job. He's on 1 heart, not able to take any more damage, getting through probably the hardest part there. On the left side, NK
hopping in after doing World 3.
Kruncha having a good World 5 start. We've got NK on the left side, is now, unfortunately, able to save it, but almost dying there means he's going to be losing some time and having to miss the first Cranky cycle here.
He'll take it, though. Not dying there is
He's going to have to
key.
pick up Diddy, and Diddy is a fate worse than death and will therefore be ditching him by causing an intentional death. Now got him following up with a second attempt. He has to ride this trolley a bit longer now. He should be able to still get this Cranky barrel. He's able to and proceed with the level. We've got Kruncha loading into the autoscroller. We've got NK now coming up on the bounce here.
The trusty trolley himself.
Trusty trolley.
He's able to trust it, and he's going to go ahead and be able to finish the level. We've got Kruncha into 5-2, which, as Ghoul said, is an autoscroller. It's another one of those rocket barrel levels. There's not really much you can do to speed it up. NK's damage on the left side there was actually intentional. Now, he can't take another hit, so he's jumping there to avoid the claw coming down. As long as he doesn't get hit by either of these enemies, he should be good. And that's a good start to World 5 by NK with an unfortunate death.
It's a good finish, though. That ending section is actually incredibly tricky, and it's the easiest section in the game to death cycle on, so avoiding that is key right there.
To note, where he almost took a death at the beginning of the level would have been far worse than taking that intentional death later from picking up the wrong Kong. So, good job by NK to adapt there and move on to the autoscroller himself. That being said, we now have a little bit of time for some donations.
All right, we have $15 from Jack Bond. SGDQ is a permanent part of my yearly budget. It feels so good to see the budget category fully charged and ready to contribute to these fun runs and helping people around the world. And we have $10 from Michael Clark. Looking forward to attending SGDQ starting Thursday. Good luck. Money goes to Spike's Choice. And we have an anonymous $50 donation. Hey guys, really loving the race so far. I've been watching GDQ since 2013, and this is the first time I've donated. Go Team USA! $15 from Austin Stone. Been watching GDQ live for years now. Tropical Freeze is one of the best Wii U games. It's not the best DKC game. It's always great to see these new strats, especially with this nice relay race of speedrunning. And lastly, $50 from Stephen G. I enjoy saving lives just as much as I enjoy saving frames. Kill those animals.
All right, I want to remind everybody that we're having a lot of fun here, but this is all for charity. So if you want to show your support in the form of donations, definitely throw that out there. You can just throw in Team USA, Team Canada. We've got a really close race still going on right now.
Still anybody's game.
It's it could very easily see a comeback from Canada.
All right, Kruncha finishing up the auto scroll here. He's going to be going into 6-3 or 5-3, one of the levels that he actually pioneered the strat for. He's going to be using Cranky here.
Yeah, we're using Cranky, and 5-3 is another one of those levels that's based on what we call global cycles. So right from the beginning of the level, everything is predetermined in terms of moving platforms for that level. So if Kruncha makes too many mistakes, he's unfortunately going to not necessarily know where these platforms are going to be and have to wait kind of full cycles instead of being able to adapt. So we're going to see if he's able to perform cleanly throughout this level. He's also going to make sure that whenever he kind of needs to wait for platforms and stuff, a lot of the runners like to kind of slap the ground, give themselves a signal of timing.
Not very much in this stage, though. You'll see them going.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that is a later level. This is not based on global cycles. I'm sorry. I mixed up the levels, so ignore everything that you just heard.
You'll see over here rolling on these platforms.
Yeah, that
damage is fine. Usually expect to take that. I want to avoid.
No, grabbing damage there is actually okay. That happens
tricky.
Quite
you can get
often.
through it, but there's some plugs and stuff to actually slow down those. We're gonna just kind of keep on moving.
NK finishing up the autoscroller, taking an extra bounce for good luck, and is going to be moving
right
on
here,
to
rolling under
5-3
this on
as
the
well.
right side, hitting that tuck and going right on through. Good stuff from Kruncha. Bounce off the archer tuck, right through there, clean.
Yeah,
Only has
Kruncha.
one hit on Cranky, has to be a bit careful.
Kruncha doing a good job so far in this level. Is able to get a little bit of extra speed from that conveyor belt there.
You see him switching to Dixie right here, just to speed up the end of this level a little bit. He can get across a gap that he couldn't get across in Cranky, and also get to the end barrel a little bit faster thanks to Dixie holding him up in the air a little bit longer. You'll see right here he's going to pause, roll right off of that, flutter right on up. Beautiful.
Very nice job on the scary jump there. We've got him moving into the end of the level. If you take a look on the left side, we've got NK rolling into the beginning of the level and is going to be doing his best to try to catch up some time. Kruncha is going to be moving between these platforms, and we're actually going to hear the end barrel before we see it. Right now,
there.
Excellent job.
Getting into it off screen.
We've now got NK taking, again, that damage is more or less expected right there, so no real time loss so far. We've got NK rolling into the barrel. He's moving into the next section.
Going up onto that, rolling through. Again, this very scary jump right here, perfectly done.
The gears that chase you in this section are actually a one-shot kill, so he has to make sure he doesn't get hit by any of those. Opting to continue on and not wait to take to get a safety heart from the barrel. He would have to wait for the Cranky cycle, so excellent
Shouldn't cause
decision.
any issue. You see right there, rolling right on through, no problem. You'll see him switch to Dixie just like Kruncha did. Kruncha loading into 5-4 panicky paddles, which is one of the scariest levels in this run. You're gonna see him grab Dixie or Diddy very early on, and you can't lose him for the entirety of the level.
Yeah, so this level has a secret exit in it, and in order to get to that secret exit, you're supposed to need Dixie, but it turns out that you can actually use Diddy. We'll talk more about that when we get to it, but the main thing is that there's only one barrel, so he's going to have to not.
You want to keep an eye on that health gauge in the top left. Make sure that he has 2 hits on Diddy. If he takes 1, he might have to play this a lot safer.
It's a very difficult level. He's going to be also bouncing off of many things, and as we mentioned before, Diddy will hover if you press the bounce button a bit too early. Now waiting on this bomb, he's going to try to grab it and throw it while all in the same jump. Excellent job there. We've got NK loading back to the world map, finishing up the 5-3 level very nicely. Kruncha working his way through, is coming into the part of the level that Diddy really saves the most time, which is this underwater section. He's going to roll through this enemy and then do as many Diddy boosts as he possibly can.
You're going to see him trying to avoid all these spike balls. They're going to be in the same place, so he's going to know where they are.
If he takes any damage here, it's not only a little bit slower, but it means that he has the potential to lose Diddy and is not able to make it to the secret exit. He's going to go for a very fast cycle there and nails it. So very nice from Kruncha in order to get on that platform before it started flipping. He's now going to have to hang up a little bit. That's why you saw him go a bit slow, and is going to make his way to the secret exit. boosting and then canceling the boost with a swim in order to get, with a turn rather, in order to get a little bit of distance, and is able to get in there. Absolutely perfect 5-4 from Kruncha.
NK taking an early hit on the left side. Might be something to keep in mind over here.
Yeah, so to take a look at NK's screen now, we've got a worry about him losing Diddy. Again, if he loses Diddy, he's going to do a different level, which is actually quite a bit slower. So we'll see if he is able to go. He gets the bomb throw just fine, moving his way through. He has to go ahead and grab this plug. These plugs can be picked up almost instantly if you mash the jump button while grabbing the plug, which is used throughout the game. He's now going to be moving into the water section, probably the most likely place to take a hit for the rest of the run, or the rest of the level rather, and we'll see if he's able to avoid it.
You see Kruncha now in 5B, which is that global cycle level Hobbs was talking about earlier. Everything he's going to be doing, if he does pause, is going to be setting up cycles for later on the level.
Going for the fast cycle, but unfortunately missing it on that platform. So
jumping over that very scary.
And having to take it a bit slow there. It shouldn't matter too much because, oh no, he's going to have to wait on the platforms again. Good adaptation to not die there. If he was trying to go for it to make up time, he almost certainly would have lost Diddy and had to go to another level. So he is going to be making his way to the secret exit as well and finishing up. We've got Kruncha on the right
missing a cycle.
side.
You can see him having to wait a little bit there. He's got these cycles now lined up. If he plays perfectly, he should be able to go down this shaft with no problems from the spikes on both sides.
Yeah, all these spikes will be have their cycles set from the beginning of the level. He was able to still fall through. It's a very nice by Kruncha.
You see him now rolling off. These jumps are very scary. These platforms spawning out underneath him as he's jumping over them into the barrel. Very clean. Good job.
Going to wait here instead of opting for a bit of a damage boost there. Not really going to save you much time. Probably the right decision. We're going to have him heading into the end of the level here where he's going to make a bit of a difficult jump from one owl into the last barrel and skip about 3 barrels.
Very clean.
Very nice World 5 so far from Kruncha.
Kruncha looking beautiful so far. NK now doing 4B himself. Looking very clean so far.
He's going to be shooting out of any of these barrels that move. The runners generally want to shoot out as soon as they can make the next barrel. NK unfortunately actually losing all of his roll speed there and is going to be off cycle for the rest of the level now. He's going to see how he adapts to this. Taking a hit once already. Yeah, going to have to wait for Cranky now.
Probably the right decision, especially since those cycles are off. He's probably going to have to wait at this anyway. Just opting to go ahead and play it a little bit safe.
Playing it safe. We got Kruncha on the right side going into our first ice level. Ice physics in this game let you move unbelievably fast, as we'll see.
You'll see just a little bit here. He's going to drop down, get hit by this watermelon, and throw in a roll to get that extra speed. Beautiful, right into the barrel.
Absolutely fantastic from Kruncha.
That's incredibly difficult. The timing to get that roll and then get that crouch. Very easy to make a mistake, especially in a high-pressure situation like this. Into the popsicle, you're going to see him try to get more speed coming out.
Yeah, here we go. He's going to be
right here.
Jumping off, and he's going to wait here and bounce off the owl and then do a roll to fly through this section, taking the intentional damage there while bouncing in order to maintain the speed. Now going to be rolling through here, keeping a crazy amount of momentum, and going into the end section. There is a setup here. Kruncha not turning around in time, trying to show some bad manners to Team Canada, but unfortunately NK taking a death on the left as well.
NK having a bit of trouble getting into this end barrel.
Looks like both runners might have been a bit distracted by Kruncha's showmanship there.
I love the strategy all along.
We've now got NK having to take an additional barrel as well, but he is finally out of 5B.
That does mean he's going to have to grab the Frankie barrel at the very start.
On to 5B. Or
5-6.
It's a bit confusing looking at 2 screens here, everybody. All right, we've got 5 boss from Kruncha. You want to tell us how the boss Bashmaster works?
Certainly. He will summon a lot of various things into the arena, including a lot of ice blocks. He will actually shoot these giant ice bullets at you. And his only vulnerability is his head, which you can hit right about now.
Oh, Kruncha taking a damage but getting a lucky heart.
And so a lot of the randomness in this fight comes from when Bashmaster summons the ice blocks, as one of the set will have a bomb in it, which he will need in order to damage the boss.
You see it right here, a bit of randomness to see which bomb it comes out in. Comes out in the...
NK on the left side took a hit, unfortunately. I have to point that out. He is not going to be able to do the damage boost that he wanted to do now. He also had to grab that partner Kong because he died earlier. Going to roll his way through the rest of this level, having to take it a bit slower in places. Doing a good job getting into the kind of hidden passageway there. Let's see what he can do with this boost without being able to take damage. He's going to bounce here and roll through. And opts to lose Cranky and to keep the speed. Good adaptation there. He's going to continue for the rest of the level without Cranky. Able to avoid damage. He's now got his own solo DK set up effectively, but instead he's just going to go through, taking a bit of damage, but finishing off the level.
No problem.
Cruncha's taken a hit as well in Bashmaster.
Kind of having some fun, bouncing off. Might have been a mistake a little bit there. You can see him playing a little bit safe, not doing as much fun strats.
He's getting lucky with these hearts, though. That's 2 hits now that he's gotten a heart from immediately.
Again,
so
not guaranteed if you with Cranky on. Only guaranteed hearts if you were solo DK.
Yeah, Kruncha also having a bit of a fun strat here with Bashmaster. Whenever he swings his hammer and slams it on the ground, the hitbox for the hammer is actually left there for a while after you've actually hit the boss. So look for some invisible pogos on Cruncha's screen.
See him coming up on it. Looks like the 6th hit here.
Got NK rolling into the boss himself. If he gets a little bit luckier in the boss, he can potentially catch up some time. Kruncha taking some damage there, but getting another heart. So some really good luck from Kruncha.
Crunchy must have brought his lucky dollar bill or something because this is pretty special over here. You can see right here, getting that. Not as lucky this time.
Yeah, not getting the heart yet. Not going to be too much of an issue. Not getting a heart for NK either on his first intentional damage, but he will have 2 more hits.
Something I do want to point out about this boss is right now when he shoots these bullets at you, it actually is possible to jump on the ice blocks and destroy them, so then he will not actually shoot anything at you, but it doesn't speed up the cycle in any way, so it's not really worth going for.
Kruncha not falling for the change-up is going to now hit him and get his heart back. Let's see if NK gets a heart here. He needs it. He didn't get one, which means he might have to lose Cranky or take it a bit slower for the rest for the next hit in this fight. We've got Kruncha coming up on his final hit of the boss and able to do it perfectly.
Let's get a round of applause for Kruncha on finishing up his segment of the run.
All right, NK now finishing off the boss as we get MooMooAkai for Team USA.
Again, Moomoo not playing since World 1. It'll be interesting to see how he responds to having to sit there and watch all of his teammates play.
Yeah, hands might be a bit cold. It looks like NK
one of the hardest levels too. Very easy to lose Cranky or die, which makes the entire rest of World 6 much more difficult.
Yeah, NK opting to lose Cranky there. Moo has described 6-1 as the level he was the most worried about, so we'll see. So far, those levels have not been too bad for our runners. We'll see if he's able to do this. There is the final controller switch for Team USA. NK wrapping up the boss as quickly as he can. These ice blocks, whenever there are 3 of them stacked on top of each other, you can't actually get over it if you don't have Cranky. So NK, used to having Cranky, is having to make some adaptations now with solo DK. Moomoo rolling into 6-1.
We're going to want to watch Moomoo over here on the right. He's going to
skip
off
a barrel there in order to get directly into the next one. He's going to do a barrel shot and unfortunately die.
Very easy mistake to make. There's only a few frame window to get that early shot off.
He's now going to have to wait for this Cranky cycle as well.
And no guarantee that he gets it on the second try. We'll see. He's going to wind up his shot here in just a little bit. Let's see the flying platform a little bit late.
He goes a little late. So his chance for Canada to come back on the next level.
Spike over here saying he wants to hold on to this lead. Maybe a bit of those nerves and that sitting around and coming back to hurt.
Yeah, coming in cold is always difficult. We'll see if he opts for it again. He does finally get on the 3rd attempt. He's going to move his way through the rest of this level now. 6-1 is potentially the shortest level of the run, so unfortunately,
not taking any safety. Does take the intentional damage there. Any hit here will lose
finishing
Cranky.
up his portion of the run. Give him a hand.
Right here, MooMoo's going to try to keep this speed off of this thing. Drop underneath.
Oh, and unfortunately not getting the Kruncha drop. This is the third death of 6-1 for Moomoo. Those cold hands are hard to deal with, you know. We got NK handing the controller back to Goldfish, who also hasn't played since World 2, so we'll see if there are any kind of similarities between the runners in this first level. Moomoo now making his way to the end of the level. There is a setup to end this quickly with solo DK, but it looks like he's going to take...
No, he's going for it.
Get a setup and is able to hit the barrel. Spike showing his teammates some love there.
It's not over yet, though. He's now got to pick up Cranky at the start of 6-2, which is going to throw off some of these early cycles for the level.
Yeah, not only that, but he's going to have to make a pretty difficult jump while the level is still loading in. Taking a look at the left side, we've got Goldfish loading into 6-1 now, having to wait for Cranky because of that loss during the boss Bashmaster. He's now going to go for the same barrel shot that we saw from... Oh, he gets it. We saw it from Moomoo, how difficult that can be. He was a little bit odd on how that worked. He's going to be rolling his way now through the spiky ceiling.
Again, taking that intentional damage. Any damage here will lose Cranky, which is definitely not something he wants.
All right, he's going to be going for a momentum boost here, swinging off of this platform. He's going to bounce and try to get the Kruncha drop, which he did, was able to save another death over Moomoo there. Making up some time for Team Canada. World 6 is definitely the world where anything can happen, so don't think that Team Canada is out of this just yet. He's now going to also roll off of the end and jump blindly towards that last enemy and bounce.
Moomoo losing Cranky here. That's a bit scary. He's going to have to go for a solo DK ship skip here. Incredibly tricky to do.
Yeah, he has to pull up the ship and avoid all of these fish while he's doing it. He unfortunately can't make the jump that he would be able to do with Cranky. He's now taking another damage, so he's going to potentially need to play it safe.
Oh my goodness, you see him reaching out for it, just not quite making it to the vine. We are basically neck and neck. I believe, though, Moomoo has no chance to re-up Cranky. He's going to have to still do this solo DK from here. Goldfish still having Cranky is going to have a huge advantage coming into here, although Team USA still having that lead.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. We've got Goldfish loading his way into the level, catching up. He's going to be able to catch up even more time in this level. We'll see, starting with Cranky is already the advantage that he gets with from nailing 6-1, so we'll see if he can capitalize and make a big comeback.
Moomoo not trusting the roll through there, actually using the bomb to kill the walrus.
Saving his heart so that way he can potentially take some damage later.
He wants to make sure he gets the ship skip. The ship, he's going to right here try to skip this ship that's going to slowly rotate coming up. Incredibly tricky to do with solo DK. If he doesn't do it, it's a huge time loss. We'll see what he does right here. He's going to roll off, jump, misses the hoops. He's going to have to ride it.
Going to have to ride the ship, and we'll take a look at the left side while he's doing that. Goldfish is now moving into the same section, and with Cranky, it's quite a bit easier. He's able to bounce off all these owls and pass Team USA. We have a comeback from Team Canada. I know we've got some Canadians. Can we hear some love for Team Canada? And I know we've got some Americans in the house. If you want to see Moomoo shake those nerves off and catch up, let's hear it for Team USA. Moomoo's got the home field advantage. He's got the crowd behind him, but can he catch up? World 6 is an entire gauntlet. Even the autoscroller of this world is incredibly difficult, so we're going to see some lead changes, I think.
6-3 generally regarded as one of the easier levels in World 6. Not free by any means, especially Moomoo now having to use Diddy here instead of Cranky. There are no Cranky barrels in this stage at all.
Yes, this is going to be the Diddy of shame that we'll see from MooMooAkai. I hate to call him out, but we got to point it all out, man. We've got Goldfish rolling in with Cranky, so he should be able to be quite a bit faster in this level. The level, for some reason, only giving you Diddy, yet he is definitely the worst Kong for this level. Feels a bit cruel by the developers there. Okay, rolling into these barrels now, he's going to be able to continue to roll down these slopes and bounce off the enemies and make jumps like that with the Cranky's cane. Those are the kinds of jumps that Moomoo's going to have to kind of adapt and use the casual strats for. See if he's taking all of these barrels and is going to be picking up Diddy soon. Goldfish doing excellently on the left side so far. Moomoo taking 1 heart of damage, not too much of a deal. This is not a rotating barrel. We've now got him picking up the Diddy of Shame, and he'll be making his way through the rest of the level with him. On the left side, we are able to see Goldfish skip an entire section by pogoing there. That is something that MooMoo's not going to be able to do later.
MooMoo's going to have to go underneath those vines and go over it.
Goldfish rolling into the goal barrel. Excellent job by him.
Goldfish playing absolutely perfectly right now.
Yeah, it looks like that 2-3 from earlier on is not getting to Goldfish at all. He's shaking it off and is doing a very excellent World 6 right now. Moomoo making his way to the end of the level, not able to skip this section now that he doesn't have Cranky, having to take that barrel and make his way around slowly. And we'll be seeing him move into the barrel, sliding his way down into the final barrel of the level, the gold barrel.
Be interesting to see. Michael Goldfish, very famously at SGDQ 2015, took a very early hit intentionally in this stage just to have some fun. We'll see if he actually feels himself enough to do it right here.
Yeah, we'll see. Muncha, I want to know, how are you feeling? Who do you think's going to take this with it being this close at the end of the run?
I honestly don't know. I can't pick any favorites right now. I'm just hoping for a very close finish.
All right, we've got Goldfish not taking damage from the first snowball, which is a good start. We'll see if he decides to kind of do some bad manners and not play it safe. And
looks like he's just going to go ahead and play it very vanilla. You're going to have to see Moomoo on the right. He's going to have to take a switch over to Cranky. Oh, he's going for everything at least. Oh,
there's the damage.
There's the bad manners. There's him going for everything.
We've got Moomoo rolling his way in now with Diddy. Going to have to wait on this Cranky barrel. Grabbing it there. I mean, he did lose a little bit of time, probably about 2 seconds there. See if Moomoo decides to just focus up and take it safe, or if he's going to also do what he normally does, which is kind of go for everything. I know Moomoo likes to have fun during these auto-scrollers and go for the puzzle pieces and the Kong letters. In fashion, he's not letting it get to him now. He's going to continue to do that. I think we've got a little bit of time for some donations while we watch Goldfish try to do the rest of this level on one heart.
Alrighty, Curly W gives us $102. Super happy to see Tropical Freeze back at GDQ Marathon. It's been my favorite speed run to watch for a long time now. Put $51 to MooMooAkai's choice and the other $51 to Michael Goldfish's choice. We have $200 from Enoch. This Tropical Freeze race has easily been the best run so far, and it's only day one. Can't wait to see what else is this week's gonna offer. Can't wait to see what else this week is going to have to offer. Good luck to all of the runners.
All right, Goldfish making it through most of the difficult sections now on one heart. We've got Moomoo still doing his best to pick up everything. Looks like Goldfish is going to have kind of one last kind of area where he might take a hit. It's going to be this shaft coming up here. We'll see, able to so far not be hit. Walls will be closing in on him here.
Looks like we're going to get a very clean repeat of that SGDQ 2015 performance. Let's get a round of applause for Moomoo, or for Goldfish, going for all the swag. Let's just have a round of applause for both runners. Why not?
Yeah. We got Moomoo still picking up everything, not letting the nerves get to him. We've got Goldfish into the snowball. The snowball is basically another part of the auto-scroller. Just jump when necessary. He's going to roll his way out. You have to do a bit of a blind jump here as the snowball explodes. Able to do it perfectly. Nice job there. We've got Moomoo now not too far behind at all. Just one snowball section behind is going to be doing the same. As we've got Goldfish going into 6-5. Probably one of the most difficult levels of the run.
6-5, generally regarded as the single hardest level in any percent. Tons of momentum boosts here. All of those, we saw a little bit of them in 5-6 with all these ice physics and how Cranky can maintain this speed. Goldfish and Moomoo are going to have to try to maintain as much speed as they can off of these springs with ice physics coming up.
Very nice finish there by Moomoo as well. All right, coming into 6-5. 6-5 has several different boosts that you can go for in it, and they're all effectively optional. So we'll have to see if Goldfish decides to go for everything or take that lead,
play it a little bit safe, yeah,
not lose it, and try to make sure that he holds onto it. This Cranky can pogo off of pretty much everything, like we've said,
including these snowflakes here.
The snowflakes, and he's going to use this spring to get some momentum and bounce off the next one, continuing to keep that momentum through a roll and gain even more speed. This level is beautiful. He's even going for another boost, a bit of a risky one there, which doesn't save too much time. So Goldfish really not letting the lead stop him. He's going to grab the vine, moving up onto second boost coming up. He's going to potentially get all the way into the barrel from this spring. Let's see what he goes for here. Bouncing off of it, deciding to play it a bit safe. And
Right
he goes right into the barrel. Doesn't go for a boost that he could have done by rolling, though. So he did play it just a tad safe. We'll see if Moo tries to catch up with it or instead decides to not worry about losing any more time.
You can see right here on the left, Goldfish is going to be rolling off, bouncing off of these snowflakes. Terrifying jumps over here.
We've got
over
Moo
giant pits.
coming
Moo
up
setting
on
up
second
right here.
boost. Let's see if he goes for it. Also opting for the pogo instead of the roll, playing it safe, but nicely making it into the barrel as well. That's very difficult, even when you're not going for the roll. Taking 1 damage
you can lose
early,
all of your speed on that last spring.
not able to damage boost, unfortunately, because he took damage just a tad early there. Goldfish having a good end to the level. You do lose Cranky on purpose at the end of that level, so that was intentional. Now watching Moo bounce off of the snowflakes onto the owls. Looks like he's going to be clean so far. There's probably the hardest part of that last bit, is just making sure you don't take damage from the walrus. He's going to spin around and able to finish off the level strong.
Absolutely beautiful.
This is a mind-boggling event, how close this race is in World 6. Oh, man.
Moo maybe even running this back a little bit. I don't...
Yeah, it seems like Moomoo's gotten that confidence. He's going to be doing his best to catch up here. We've got solo DK start from Goldfish. He's rolling through probably one of the coolest designed levels in the game.
This level is stunning.
Absolutely beautiful. He's going to not take damage from those blue hoots there. He has to actually wait. The main thing about this intro section is that he gets to Dixie while she's on cycle, which is going to happen right now. So he even holding up there a little bit, meaning he was actually very clean through that early section, having to wait for Dixie. Now going to be seeing some nice bounces, doing a flutter there, which always looks very scary. Got Moo making his way through the intro as well, grabbing the Kong letters along the way for fun. We've now got Goldfish coming into some of these scary vine jumps, trying to release his grab on the vine as quickly as possible.
Also note, this should be the last time we see Dixie in the run.
The fact that he was on a just past a Diddy barrel there means he was very clean through that section. Now he's just going to be hitting all of the loading triggers for these next platforms. It's incredibly risky to go for to make sure that you don't actually fall off and just miss the platform completely. Going to be holding right and seemingly falling off the screen, but actually landing in a hidden barrel that he is going to use to get to the end of the level. Very nicely done by Goldfish. We've got Moo following him up. Not missing any cycles either, as far as I can tell. Does a good job now going into this last section as well. There is a risky barrel. Oh no, unfortunately missing a jump there, but he's
Managing
able to recover.
That is
absolutely
very
fine.
scary. Those platforms actually, if you'll watch, will disappear as he steps on them.
And opting not to go for an early barrel trick there, probably the right move after missing that one jump. He's now into the same barrel. He's going to be holding left here to get Donkey Kong to turn around, then cancel it by grabbing the plug and immediately getting into the barrel. Nice job.
Very clean. Moving. No rest for the weary, though. It's going to go right into 6-7. This is one of the most terrifying levels. They're going to be switching to Cranky and using him to try to jump over all these electrified vines and platforms.
I love to call this the Crash Bandicoot level. I don't know exactly why, but it reminds me about a lot of the laboratory-style levels from Crash Bandicoot. We'll be seeing exactly why in a moment. Both runners have opted to use Cranky for this level, even though Dixie is often seen as the safer one. Both are about the same amount of time, but Cranky means that you won't need to wait on a Cranky barrel in the next level. So we've got Goldfish doing his best to make these jumps. Again, the pogo stick does not help you against electricity, so he has to make sure that he's hitting all these platforms just as the electricity disappears. Now making a bit of a scary jump there. He's going to pogo his way through instead of rolling. Even though rolling is slightly safer, it is, of course, slower.
Oh, beautiful.
Man, beautifully done.
Weaving his way through these electrical.
Making a scary jump as well. Moo picking up the puzzle piece for fun is making his way into the scarier part of the level. We've got an excellent job by Goldfish so far. Now going to take a damage boost as soon as this cycle is met, and he can do it. Sorry, I'm having fun just watching this right now. We're going to be watching him get into the end here and waiting and not taking damage, meaning he's going to save the full time with Cranky. Excellent job. Moo making his way decided to continue using Cranky as well instead of opting for the safer Dixie. He knows he needs to catch up the time. He's not having any problems so far, flying through the level. Danger be damned, he's making his way.
Taking an early hit there, though.
That hit is okay as long as he's able to either lose Cranky here. Yeah, he's going to lose Cranky and make that cycle. He could have also waited. He's unfortunately now not going to save time in 6-8 by having Cranky because he's going to end with solo DK. But we still got a race here.
This is still a race. This is still anybody's game. Any mistake, Goldfish, this is the last Ramby level in the game. No way of skipping Ramby in this stage. You'll see them grab him right here on Goldfish's screen on the left side.
And with Moo making his way into that stage, I can't help but think that Team USA is holding out for a hero right now, and they're really hoping that that hero can be MooMooAkai. We've got Goldfish pogoing whenever possible here in order to stop, or rather not start a new running animation with Ramby. That new run animation costs 1/10 of a second every time.
The stage is incredibly hard in this kind of a stage, though. With all these jitters, you see all of this stop and go. If he immediately runs off some of these platforms, the next part of the stage doesn't fall, and he'll just run straight off to his doom. So he has to contain all of these nerves and all of this adrenaline and make sure that he doesn't do anything too soon.
Also doing these barrel shots as early as he possibly can, meaning he's skipping a lot of these bananas, means he's doing it very early, and if he misses any of them, it's certain death. Doing a nice job. Moo, now that he has Cranky, is on his way, doing a good job as well. We've got Goldfish coming into the last section now. Oh man, going for a very risky jump, getting on there as early as possible. Sounds like the runners are listening to holding out for a hero now. Okay, Goldfish coming into the end here. There is one more barrel that could potentially give him trouble. It gave him trouble last year at AGDQ. We'll see how it goes for him. Waiting on the lava to push him up, getting into the as we call it, AGDQ
he has to hold up.
Again, needs to make sure he waits the appropriate amount of time here
no
and is
trigger
able
fingers
to
today.
clear it no problem. We've got Moo still not too far behind in the same level, ditching Ramby instead of going for the riskier jump. That is also a very difficult strat. It is about the same amount of time, slightly slower potentially, but is absolutely insane. We've got Goldfish losing about 1/2 a second in order to lose Ramby. Going for some fun there. We've got Moo now making the scary jumps over the pits of lava. He's now going to wait on this lava waterfall, end up in the AGDQ barrel, as we like to call it, and is going to be waiting here.
Holding, waiting. Again, no itchy trigger fingers on either side. Very good wait from Moo.
Very calm, very well done. Moo's now going to be making his way through, continuing to just do some runs for the most part at the end here. You have to actually be running with Ramby to plow through some of this at full speed rather than pogoing. He's ditching Ramby, watching him burn in the lava, and makes his way to the goal.
Goldfish now loading into the final boss. By no means free. Very famous. Runners are known to choke on this boss, getting these 3 hits on each cycle.
Not only that, but this boss has a fair amount of randomness to it. We can actually see, we could see Frederick take longer on one side versus the other without it being within their control.
You see him going for an early throw, missing it. That's still fine. You see him get him very quickly afterwards.
Yeah.
Sometimes that'll actually cause him to go into a teeter, which does actually save time over the wait. So great job there. You will see the first 3 hits right here. 1, no problem.
All 3 of these are going to be slow. There's the second one right now, and he's going to go for the third one now, able to do it beautifully. That's first phase down for Goldfish. Moo now loading into the fight. He's only 1 phase behind. That is certainly something that can be caught up to if Goldfish gets incredibly unlucky or misses a hit here. These hits are kind of like Bowser throws in Super Mario 64. You can do them a million times, and you still might miss the next one.
Especially with those nerves and the pressure.
Moo getting an early hit there. That's going to save him some time. Now got Goldfish going into the icicle section while Moo's going for his first 3 hits. Got 1 down, 2 down. Let's see if he can go 3 for 3. Yes, he goes 3 for 3 here, and we get no early hit from Goldfish, but the teeter animation, which should be a bit faster.
Now you do see that after those icicles, the stage is now made of ice. So he has to deal with ice physics on top of this. You'll see him speeding up now. This run is a little bit
Hit
faster.
number 5.
Here's 6. 6
Here's
is the most difficult
fast
one.
We've got the 6 hits. So
Nails
that's
it.
6 for 6 so far for Goldfish. Moo is not far behind. Here is the main point of RNG. These platforms are going to fall in a random order, and unfortunately, he's getting a very slow pattern here on Goldfish's end. The fastest pattern, which hopefully we'll see from Moo, actually has all platforms cascade and fall out directly from under you.
Saves almost 5 seconds.
Moo now getting his chance at the next 3 hits. The
You're
3
going to want
for
to
the
watch that
second
right
phase.
side right here. First hit, no
gets
problem.
The 4th hit, no problem. Going for his 5th one, he nails it. And let's see about the 6th one. This is the one where he goes much faster and is able to get it. That was very close to getting hit, at which point he might not have actually
You
done
see
the
Spike
damage.
on the couch there, freaking out. That was incredibly close. I actually thought he was going to take the damage there.
While
Here we go.
Moomoo's getting his piece of randomness, Goldfish is missing a grab, and Moo got the good luck, so he's catching up more time. Frederick is doing everything he can to help him. Goldfish now is on to his final 3 hits. Time is coming up for Team Canada. Let's see if he can get the 9th hit. This is 7, number 8, and the last one.
Time is on the punch.
Number 9. Time for Canada now.
Canada
Team
wins.
Canada wins the race. Moo doing his best to finish strong now is going to go for another early throw, not quite able to get it, is going to get the 2nd throw fairly early though. That is very risky. And he's now going to go for his last 3 hits. We got number 7 there, number 8, and the last hit. Time coming up for Team USA. Gets number 9, and time!
What an absolutely incredible showing by all of our runners.
That was an insane race. 1:34.55 being the race time from Team Canada. 1:35.28 from Team USA. That's ridiculous.
A 30-second difference. All that separates Team USA and Team Canada. You see them hugging it out. They know how much this meant to everybody and how amazing this race
37
was.
seconds in an hour-and-a-half race is crazy. Let's hear it one more time for them, guys. Let's hear it for Team Canada, the victors.
All right, congratulations, Team Canada.
I will
Before we
stand
kick it over to the interview area for postmortem on that race, I'll do a few more donations and read off our incentives. We have a $100 anonymous donation. Just to make the finale interesting, put the sword to winner's choice. $15 from Joker Blader. Thank you so much for breaking these games and earning money for a great cause. Keep up the amazing work, everyone. Donating one more time, says Furious Vampire, because say put this towards Spike's choice in killing the animals. On to our incentives. It's our last chance to put in for the suit on Metroid Prime. I believe Fusion Suit is ahead by a few $100s, so if you want to push that ahead, you got to donate big. Also, if you're looking to put towards any bonus games for the end of the event, that's at the bottom of the donation page. Do remember that. This stream is powered by Twitch. You are watching Summer Games Done Quick 2016, a live charity marathon for Doctors Without Borders.
Welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2016. I'm your host, Velociraptor42, taking through to the next game. This is a speedrun charity marathon powered by Twitch. And we're going to go over to the interview table for some interview with the DKC runners here.
Hey, are we live? 3, 2, we're here already. Go. Hi, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2016. That we just had the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze Race that myself from Team USA, SpikeVegeta, and Michael Goldfish here of the winning team of Team Canada.
Canada!
Damn it. We're here for you guys. Yeah, we're setting up for Metroid Prime in our retro block. I'm actually going to kick this. It's going to be a little more of a panel style. We're going to kick it over to Ghoul02, who commentated the whole thing.
Yeah, I was kind of responsible for the color commentary, but let's put the focus on you guys. So you guys both did World 2 against each other, head-to-head. 2-3 being kind of one of the standout moments, each of you guys having a death in it. Like, what was the roller coaster of emotions like during that when you guys have all of these like changing leads and things happening right there?
It's really hard for us over there because we've done so many weeklies of this over the last 2 years, and it almost always goes down like that. Oh, the race is definitely over. We thought it was over in World 5. Mm-hmm. World 2, Goldfish dies. Yes, suck it. I'm good. I'm gone. And all of a sudden, I just miss a leaf. I don't know what happens. And we both looked at each other. We were really happy it was just all of a sudden a close race. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just a matter of we look at each other and are we both really this bad?
We played this game more than most anyone else on the planet, and we're still like, yeah, it's hard. I mean, 2-3 is a tough level.
It's a very difficult level as somebody that's run the game. And, so, Goldfish, you were doing World 6. You came in with a bit of a deficit. How did you feel going into that? What was your plan? Were you trying to make up time? Were you worried about that? What was your thought process?
Well, I was really worried, and then Moo started doing his 6th one. He started throwing it on purpose for Team Canada.
Yeah, for sure.
So once that happened, it really got a lot better. I actually realized, hey, I have a chance at this. Team Canada is not completely out.
There's got to be some sense of when you're the team behind. I don't know. Like, I guess for the two of us, did you feel like when you were behind that there was less pressure on you, or that there was more pressure on you?
I felt less pressure, just because I don't have to. It's not my job to keep the lead. I just need to play the game, and everyone's going to be looking at the guy who's in first and seeing, is he going to mess up? It's
frustrating because, like, for Moo, 6-1 and 6-2 are, I mean, they're very difficult levels. Sometimes they'll do it and they'll go perfectly, and other times they cost you minutes. Yeah. You saw it on display
and again,
there.
going in totally cold from World 1.
That's so hard. I'm so glad I didn't have that job.
Yeah, no, that was really depressing. Having to do a World super early and then just
wait a literal hour.
Yeah, 3/4 of the game. Oh, you have to play again, by the way. Yeah. Well, everyone else is just done chilling.
So you guys have also both done GDQ runs. Spike, you participated in the Rayman Legends race at SGDQ 2014, I believe. Goldfish, of course, doing the AGDQ 2015 Tropical Freeze run. How did your preparation change for this? Did being part of a team make this more fun? What did you guys think?
I'd say same type of prep in general, just you want to show off the game more than anything else.
Right.
But also less pressure in the sense that if you screw something up, there's someone else like right next to you who can also nail the trick.
Sure,
so it's kind of like twice of the odds to get every trick, which is pretty good.
I think this is such a good race game. We've had so many close races over the years, and it was nice feeling like I am sitting. I mean, I've always had friends near me, but just really being in that, with your boys, for lack of a better term, getting to you experience this together. So I'm glad we all got to have this. I'm actually going to shift the gears because Ghoul, in 2 runs, you had to sit here for this. In 2 runs, you are up right after this Metroid Prime run. You're doing Catherine, relatively popular PS3 game. Why should I watch your run?
It's kind of famous because it's Babel, which is a completely random mode. I can't control. I have no idea what patterns I'm going to get. It can basically kill me. Sometimes I might have no control over that. But it's also done 1 player, 2 controllers. So I have to use a DualShock and a fight stick to control 2 separate characters at the same time while still doing all these crazy tricks. I personally think it's a beautiful run, but I'm obviously a little bit biased.
Yeah, I mean, probably a little bit. It's blown my mind every time I've seen you do it. I don't know how you're able to process there's so much. I mean, do you legitimately believe in just hand tech?
You just slowly build up over time. Okay, if I do this with my right hand, I can, tap the fight stick to move right, and you slowly just kind of get the muscle memory to do all of these motions, over and over again, and you build up this muscle memory, and you just kind of eventually just get to it. It's actually the 2-player aspect of it is actually almost easier than trying to figure out these patterns sometimes when I'll just be looking at this wall and go, I don't know how to climb this, and I have to find some way of miraculously pulling it out, and it's an absolute blast to watch. I hope you guys all stick around.
Yeah, I was about to say, guys, again, 2 runs from now. We're doing Metroid Prime, and then we're doing Catherine. Be sure to show up. Check out my boy Ghoul. He's going to kill it. We're going to send it over one last little segment to Sent. Tell us a little bit about prizes, bud.
Sure thing, Spike. Amazing race, you two, by the way. That was crazy.
Thanks.
Real quick, so coming up during the Metroid Prime run we're talking about, we have this wonderful poster here from Kari Fry. Show it around a little bit, showing all the different stages of evolution you might see from a Metroid. Most of which you won't see in Prime. Sorry, I gotta reach down to get some of these. Then during Ghoul's Catherine, I'm looking so forward to that. By the way, that is a game I've played casually. I've watched a couple of people do tournaments of it, and I don't know how this man pulls it off, but he does. During that run, we actually have something really special. So straight from E3, we have a signed poster of Persona 5 from the devs of the game.
It's Soejima-san, who's actually the character designer for Persona in Catherine. So very awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. A wonderful anonymous donation for us. Thank you so much for this. It's crazy awesome. And then,
so many goodies.
Yeah, a little bit later on during New Super Mario Bros. 2 and Mario Kart we have going on, we have a Mario amiibo here and a signed Mario print from Charles Martinet himself. Charles Martinet, of course, the voice of Mario for the last 25 years. If you've heard that character talk, you've heard Charles Martinet.
Yeah, what
he keeps pulling out prizes.
There's more.
I just got like a little hat back here. You know, there's rabbits. I got Klonoa. It never ends. Well, he's dead now. And then
whoever wins that prize appreciates
during
it.
Mario Kart, got to move Mr. Saturn. Get these up front. Wow. We have these little Mario Kart, figurines. You can make them race. Mario's got a little green shell there. Yoshi has a string of bananas that seem to have fallen off somewhere. Hopefully no one slips on them. Be careful back here, guys.
We promise to fix your prizes before you win them. So.
Oh, yeah. And that's really what we're looking forward to coming up. So thanks so much for having me on here, Spike. And
absolutely, Sent.
Definitely loved your race. Really looking forward to your run, Ghoul.
Yeah, make sure to keep track of the tracker all week, guys. We've got tons of great prizes and incentives. Make sure to donate for them. Guys, we are sending it over for Metroid Prime. Get hype.
Yes, he opened the scan visor.
The brightness good? It wasn't changed.
All right, well, we've got a $200 donation from Tony Ogbot. Hope you all enjoyed my run. Here's $200 as promised. We have a $50 donation from Neurofic. Best way to start off my summer holidays, and it's a full week of speedrun exhibitions, not to mention donating to my favorite cause, Médecins Sans Frontières. Fight the good fight, lads.